Namaskar. Welcome to the example number 12 for the progeny prospects. This is also an interesting case. In the previous video, we were discussing on a female chart in whose chart we could see that some problem in the progeny prospects. Progeny is supported, but for the fifth house as the Lagna, it is connecting, signifying trouble having houses to the Lagna of the child, influenced by the unfavorable planets, signifying 4th house, 6th house, 8, 12 house grouping, and also Badaka Lord also playing. It indicates some improper development in the pregnancy itself, because the running period also was signifying those things. That's what we were discussing. That was clearly indicating in the child's birth chart also. And unfortunately, that child also expired in short duration of the period during the unfavorable Dasa Buddhi Antara. In this example, now we are going to study another female chart who got married and who got the first child. There was no issue in the first child's growth and everything is fine. But the second child was having the issue. The second child was developing the mental disability. The growth of the brain is not good. It means what? That will be seen clearly in the birth chart of that second child, but it should be seen also in the mother chart. You see that mother, first child and also second child, that what do you call, delivery, pregnancy happened in the same dasa. Same dasa, both the child were born, but in different buddhis. And conception also happened in the same antara only. I will explain. But difference is only the buddhi. Just because of the difference in the buddhi, it is having the problem. Not only that, the destiny. The first child is signified by the fifth house, and second child is signified by the seventh house. Actually, seventh house is the second child, and also fifth house is a commonly supportive house for the progeny. We have to keep it in mind, second child or third child, respective seventh house or ninth house. Other than that, fifth house also signifying in general for the child. That you have to keep it in mind, not only the seventh house. So if you look at the destiny of the fifth cuspal sublord, what it signifies, it will be supportive for the first child and progeny, and also it will support for the second child also. That is fine. But if you look at the seventh cuspal sublord, if it is signifying supportive signification for the childbirth, but also if it is having unfavorable houses to the Lagna of the seventh house, trouble giving houses to the health of that Lagna. Having got, as I said, Maraga, Badaga houses, that is, if it is having Maraga, Badaga houses, then it will lead to trouble to the longevity also. But other than that, if it is signifying trouble giving houses to the seventh house, fourth house, sixth house, eighth house, 10th house, 12th house, countered from the seventh house, and also Badaka Lord also connected, and especially Moon, Mercury are all connecting, signifying such signification that can lead to the trouble in the growth of the nervous system or brain. There is one interesting point you have to keep it in mind. Seventh house is not only for the Lagna of the second child, it is also Lagna of the spouse. Spouse, seventh house is indicating not only the marriage and also the spouse, but the spouse is not the blood related to the Lagna. But still, the seventh cuspal sublord, if it is signifying Badaga houses, Maraga houses to the seventh house, along with the trouble giving separation causing houses, which we already studied in one chart, where the seventh cuspal sublord itself is indicating strong unfavorable. It led to loss of the spouse in an accident, and second marriage also supported because 9th house and 11th house also favoring. In this case, here it is talking about 7th house is not strongly indicating any Maraga Badaka, but it is indicating unfavorable houses for the growth. 4th house, 6th house, 10th house, they're all unfavorable houses to the growth of the child, that lagna, that fetus, and in the and the time of conception also, if these planets are all ruling, the unfavorable key planets influencing the lagna of the 7th house itself is ruling at the time of the conception, the dasa buddhi, definitely that will be taken, that unfavorable will take advantage, and that will cause trouble in the development and in the delivery also. The period after the delivery, you can see that chart will indicate the influence of the trouble giving planets of, for the 7th house matter, that is lagna of the 7th house. So destiny also should support, and the running periods also, if it is signifying, we should not go for such things. That's what we discussed in the previous chart itself. Destiny also influenced by the unfavorable planet, and dasa strongly influenced, and buddhi is further influenced. In that period, when the antra also influenced by that unfavorable, then influence that period the conception taken place. So finally led into such a mental disorder. Same thing, you can compare 5th house, that is the first child and second child, when the conception taken place in the unfavorable period, that has given the way for such mental disorder. So that second child was born but is mentally disabled, and is dependent on somebody, is not able to do on its own, because of the not only mental disturbance, also nervous system also disturbed. So it is a very horrible situation. So now we have to check how far that female chart, that mother chart, is signifying supportive for two children, and first child, there is no issue in the health, and in which period dasa buddhi conception taken place, and second child also, in which period that conception taken place, how the destiny of the second child is indicated, then why that such things are happening, that we will discuss in detail in this example. Example number 12, timing of childbirth. Importantly, we are going to study in this example troubles in the growth of the second fetus inside the mother's womb. So that we are going to discuss now. Let us check the birth chart of that mother. This is the birth chart of that mother, female, who got married, and two children were born, and the second child only has got the issue that we are going to study now. First, let us check the marriage date. Okay, prior to that, let us go for the general study. General study. Lagna. Lagna is Gemini Lagna. And fifth cusp is falling in the Libra, and seventh cusp is falling in the Sagittarius. Fifth Lord Venus is posted in the 10th house, conjoined with the third Lord and also 6th and 11th Lord. So fifth Lord is supported by 11, and fifth Lord also 12th Lord, and also conjoined with the third Lord. So 3, 11 are supportive. And seventh Lord is Jupiter. That Jupiter is posted in the 4th house. 7th Lord, also 10th Lord, occupying 4th house and conjoined with the 8th Lord and 9th Lord. 7th Lord posted in the 4th house and conjoined with this Saturn, closely conjoined. This 8th Lord, Saturn is 8th Lord and 9th Lord. Jupiter is 7th Lord and 10th Lord in the sign of Virgo. You can see Jupiter in the sign of Mercury. Sorry, Saturn in the sign of Mercury, and Mercury in the sign of Saturn. So Mercury and Saturn are in sign exchange. Lagna Lord, 4th Lord, and 8th Lord, 9th Lord are in sign exchange. So that we will keep it in mind. Now, 7th house is occupied by Moon. Moon is second Lord, occupying 7th house, and Rahu occupying the 2nd house. So, and with this, we are not able to get any point because CLOCC, and Jupiter represents that the moon in the sign of Jupiter, that Jupiter is the 7th lord, is occupying 4th house, conjoined to the 8th lord. And the 7th lord is aspected by 5th lord and 3rd lord. You see, there are 3 planets. Mars is 6th lord, 11th lord, and Sun, 3rd lord, Venus, 5th lord, 12th lord. So 5 and 12, 6 and 11, and 3rd, all are aspecting to this. So when there are more than 2 planets are conjoined, and if they are all influencing other planet by way of aspect, their signification, if they are all favorable for a particular event and the occupant of the house also good, that is going to be good. If they are having some unfavorable grouping, say 6, 8, 12 grouping, or through the conjunction, 6th lord, 8th lord, 12th lord, or their significations are having 6, 8, 12 grouping, and they are aspecting to other planet, they will influence the other planets also with the unfavorable 4, 6, 8, 12 grouping. And Badhaga Lord also joining hand, it is going to be more unfavorable. So as of now, Jupiter Saturn conjunct, and Saturn and Mercury are in sign exchange, and so Jupiter will get involved, strongly connected to the Mercury, because for this Lagna, for the 7th house, Jupiter is the Lagna Lord, and Lagna Lord, that is the first Lord, that is Badhaga Lord to this 7th house. Okay, that we'll have to keep it in mind. Anyway, so it is indicating some weakness are present. They are all influencing other planet, but we will not be able to come to any conclusion. But we have to be very careful that whenever such a grouping of planets are present, right? So now let us check the self-signification of each planet, and then we'll go for the significations, that is destiny and dasa periods. So let us check for the child first, because first child or second child doesn't matter, because only the primary house can be different little bit, but other houses are going to be unfavorable only. So anyway, let us go. Let us look at the unfavorable grouping planets. Ketu occupying 8th house, 3, 11, 2. So 8 is not good, 3, 11, 2 is good, and second planet is mixed one. So Ketu is going to be pink. Venus, 5th lord, 12th lord occupying 10th house, 7th star lord, 1, 3, 7, 8, 9. So these houses are supportive for the marriage. And also it is a 5th house moving towards 1, 3, 7, 9 are good for the multiplicity of the 5th house and relationship also. And also it is supportive for the multiplicity of the 5th house, because child is 5, further supported by 7. But 12, 10, 8 also there. It is favorable, but because of the 12 and 10 and 8, we can take that Venus, because we are talking not for the marriage, we are talking for the child. 5th lord is good, but 12, 10, 8 is indicating some weakness. So what we have to do, Venus can be taken as a blue, but we have to keep it in mind, it's got weakness, 12, 10 and 8, right? We can give pink also, but there will be many pinks are possible. So let us, what I am giving blue, but later if you want, we can change to pink. Sun is 3, 10, 4, 8. Definitely it is going to be light red, because 3rd lord, okay, but 10th occupant, 4, 8 star lord, that's not good. Being the 3rd lord, okay, it is good only, but if you start giving pink, then we'll not be able to differentiate. So I am giving light red. Moon, 2, 7, 2nd lord occupying 7th house, 12th star lord, 2 and 7 is good, and 12th star lord is not good. Second planet is 2, 1, 5, 5, 10, 11, 12. So this is having mixed signification, favorable group are present, but because of this, I am giving blue. 12 is there, and 10 and 12. And Mars, 6th lord, 11th lord occupying 10th house, 9th star lord, and 6th sub lord. 6, 10, 6. This is not good for the 7th house, but not bad for the 5th house, right? But 6th lord, 10th occupant, and 6th sub lord, it is weak. And if you take this is for the second child, definitely it is going to be weak. For the first child, it is okay, but weakness is present. So what we can do, Mars we can take as the pink. Rahu, second occupant, 1, 5, 5, 10, 11, and 12. It is good only. Because of the 10 and 12, we can take this Rahu as a pink. Not pink, sorry, blue. Because 2, 1, 5, 5, 11 are good. Fifth sublord and 11th sublord for the, in general, for the child. Na? 11 and 12, sorry, 10 and 12 is not, it is weak, but it is not detrimental completely. So Rahu is blue. And Jupiter, definitely Jupiter is weak. 7, 10, 4, 10, 4. So Jupiter is light red. And Saturn, 8th Lord, 9th Lord occupying 4th house, 2 and 6 star Lord. 8th occupant, 3, 11 and 2. This is fine, but 9th Lord is fine. Second star Lord is fine, but 2 and 6 is more on the professional prospects. 8th Lord occupying 4th house, it is weak. 9 is fine, but this is not so good. So definitely Saturn definitely will be a light red. We can give light red because though 9th Lord, but 2 and 6 is not so good. Yes, this is there now. So what we can do, Jupiter, Saturn, we can give pink. So we will see. When we are studying, we have to keep this mind. It is 9th Lord occupying 4th house. It will give a problem. Because of the 9th Lord, 8th Lord occupying 4th house, not good. And 9th Lord having got 3, 11, 2, Ketu, second planet, and free planet. So we'll give pink. Mercury, Lagna Lord, 4th Lord occupying 9th house, is going to be blue because of the 4th Lord, right? So now I have given the colors, and let us see the destiny prospects of the child, right? Now let us check the destiny. Let me open the self-significators. Check the fifth cuspal sublord. Fifth lord is what? Fifth lord is Venus, right? Venus is the fifth lord. I'll come to the fifth lord later. First, let us check the fifth sublord, Rahu. Rahu, fifth sublord, 11th sublord, in the star of a planet is mixed one, but second planet is fine. The 12th planet is good. And so, I mean, again, second planet Rahu itself come. And again, sublord also Rahu, 2, 1, 5, 5, and 11 are good. And Saturn has come. Now, Saturn only having got some weakness, but that is being reduced by the 12th planet. So that way, that is fine, right? Moreover, if that Saturn planet it is having other favorable key planets in their rulers, that will be fine. You can see Venus it is present, and Mercury also present. So that second planet is having some weakness, but supported by Ketu and supported by the support planets Venus is present, and 2A level planet Moon itself is reducing the unfavorable strength, right? And sublord planet is further supporting the same planet only repeated. So it is supportive for the child, right? It is fifth cuspal sublord in the star of a planet. It is supportive. You can also see that fifth sublord also representing moon occupying seventh house, and sublord also again Rahu is coming and seventh house is coming. So fifth sublord is connected to the seventh house and also seventh house, second house, 11th house. It is a ninth house also supportive for more than a child. You can see fifth sublord, I mean, moon is connecting to the seventh house, and second planet Saturn, ninth lord, conjoined with the seventh lord. So that is 7 is supporting. And Venus, importantly, Venus is the fifth lord and 1, 3, 7, 9 cuspal sublord. So aspected by Venus and Mercury. Rasi lord is Mercury, 1, 4, 9. And so that Ketu also, it means what? Fifth sublord is having some weakness, but supported by the favorable seventh house, ninth house, 11th house in their rulers. It is supportive for more than a child, but despite some weakness. Correct? Now child is born. I mean, child is fifth cuspal sublord. If you take a fifth sublord, is the lagna of the child. If you take the this is lagna of the child, fifth house. Star Lord having some weakness but not detrimental. but sublord planet itself is Rahu has come, so that way it is good, right? So that way, that star lord planet, 12 level planet is favorable to the fifth house, but it's not strongly unfavorable to the fifth house. What are the unfavorable house to the fifth house? Second house of the fifth house is sixth house, and fourth house and eighth house, 10th house, 12th house. If the significations are playing, then it is going to be more unfavorable. It is having some such significations in the star level, but star lord of the star lord is not further supportive, and supported by the Rahu itself, good key planet. Again, sublord itself, the Rahu has come. So fifth house is not indicating any serious troubles at the star level, some weakness, but 12 level and sub level are favorable. But look at the seventh cuspal sublord. Fifth lord moving towards this one, it is also supportive for the more than a child. And look at the Venus. Venus is seventh sublord. It is talking about Lagna lord, third lord, seventh sublord, or ninth sublord. This is the Lagna of the second child. Please understand, this is the destiny for the marriage also. But if you take on the marriage point of view, seven sublord also having got favorable grouping. In the star of your planet is ninth lord having got some supports, and 12 planet is favorable for the child, for the marriage, and sublord is Mars having some weakness, definitely having some weakness, but fourth level planet is supportive. Suppose the Mars is getting the support from the other favorable key planet, you can see Mars is weak, having got Venus. The source planet itself is there in conjunction. Saturn is having Venus. So that if you take the seventh house is the favorable for the marriage prospects, that is passing a ruler link to the other levels. The other level planets are a weak planet. Some weakness are being reduced by the influence of the strong key planet, that too through the ruler's link. But if you see that seventh house as the Lagna of the second child, these houses, these eight, you can see fifth sublord also in the star of Saturn only. Here also Saturn, there is no difference. But seventh sublord itself is having 12 and 10 and 8. Here, no. Fifth sublord is having 10 and 12 only, but it is in the self, it is good. But here, seventh sublord itself is self-afflicted. And in the star of your planet, Saturn is further supporting to this. And 12 level is okay. And sub level is Mars. Mars is talking about 6, 11, 10, 9, and 6. This 6 is weak to the seventh house. 7 is already influenced by this unfavorable, and also further influenced by the unfavorable Mars. 6, 10, and 6. So this is not good to the 7th house, 12th house to the 7th house, and the 10th house is 4th house to the 10th house. So, and of course, this Lagna for this 7th house is falling in the sign of Sagittarius. For this Lagna that is Gemini Lagna, that is Mercury. Mercury is going to be the Badaka Lord, right? That is, Lagna is going to be the Badaka Lord. So in that case, you can see whether role of Mercury also playing role, that we have to check, right? Seventh sublord itself is Lagna sublord, and let us check that Saturn is getting the influence of the Mercury. We will check with the birth chart itself. It will see very clearly. Venus is in the star of Saturn. Venus is in the star of Saturn, and Saturn is posted in the sign of Mercury. Saturn is conjoined with Jupiter also. What is Jupiter? Jupiter is the one which is the Lagna of the 7th house, right? Jupiter. And also that itself is, 7th Lord itself is self-afflicted, strongly unfavorable. So, Venus in the star of Saturn. Saturn is having weak significator, posted in the sign of Mercury, Badaka Lord. Mercury is Badaka Lord, na? That Saturn and Mercury are in sign exchange, and Saturn is conjoined with the Jupiter, other unfavorable key planet for the 7th house, and sublord is Mars. That Mars also conjoined with the Sun and Venus. that in the 4th house, 10th house, 4th house to the 7th house, and aspecting to the 7th Lord Jupiter. So Mars is also 12th Lord to the 7th house. So you can see this Mars unfavorable planet is forming ruler link. It is aspecting, na? Mars is aspecting to Saturn, right? So that way that Mars is conjoined with Venus. You can see. So that way, that planet are interconnected and having got unfavorable house to the 7th house. That is Lagna of the 7th house. Strongly unfavorable at the sub-level. Star level also strongly unfavorable at the sub-level. And sublord in the star of this Saturn 684 and further aggravating. So it indicates what? Some weakness to the 7th house matter. Marriage is having some weakness, so lack of affection can be expected. But if you take the 7th house as the progeny, that the 7th house second child, then it is talking about some weakness to the lagna of the 7th house. So 5th house is not like that. 5th sublord in own sublord, it is having 5 and 11. Very good houses, 2, 1, 5, 5, 11, all favorable. But the problem with the second child, I hope you are able to understand. So second child lagna is indicating some weakness to the lagna of the second child, but not the first child. Now we have to see which dasa that native got married. The native got married on 4/12/1999. At the time, that marriage time, Moon, Rahu, Sun was running. Let me note it down. Just a minute. Let me clear all these things. Marriage during that period, Moon Dasa was running, and under Moon Dasa, Rahu Bugdi Sun Antra. Rahu Bugdi and Sun Antra, that marriage was conducted. Okay. So Moon Dasa and Rahu Bugdi and Sun Antra. Where is Sun? Sun on top. Yes, Sun. Sun Antra, that marriage happened. If you check how the marriage happened during this period, you can find the key planets and their impact level wise. If you check, definitely you will identify, yes, Rahu is better for the moon, because moon second planet Rahu, and also having got some weakness at the star level, but through the other supports and all, it will be favorable. So Rahu is the better planet compared to other planet as given the marriage. So now the point is, moon Rahu Sun marriage happened. Whether that moon Rahu Sun is supportive for the conception of the child, which is the favorable key planet in the moon? Rahu. That is Rahu, and also Venus, and these two planets are the strong favorable key planet for the progeny. Right? I am talking about first child now. Moon Dasa, Rahu Bugdi. So Moon is supportive and Rahu Bugdi is Rahu also supportive and source and result and some weakness, but as we discussed, supported. So Moon Dasa, Rahu Bugdi is favorable for the first child despite some weakness, but Sun is not strong. Sun Antra, as soon as the marriage happens, Sun is not strong enough for the conception. So the first child conception taken place in Moon Rahu Moon. This is fine, no? That Moon Rahu, Moon Dasa, Rahu Bugdi, and Moon Antra, that conception taken place for the first child. So these two are favorable. So in Moon Dasa, Rahu Bugdi, Moon Antra conception taken place, and the child birth happened. So Rahu Bugdi will be over, because Moon Dasa, Rahu Bugdi will be a small period, and Rahu Bugdi over, and Jupiter Bugdi was running. Jupiter Bugdi was running. Jupiter in the source having some weakness, star lord Moon, and Venus is fine. Sublord having some weakness. Again, Saturn is coming, mixed significations. But no other way, Jupiter Bugdi has to give the delivery during that period. So in Jupiter, the good key planets are Moon, Rahu, and Venus, right? So if you say check the self-significator, sorry, the support, definitely these planets will have the supports of the favorable key planet. Dasa Lord is Moon, no? Moon, Venus, Rahu. Moon, Venus, Rahu are playing role in the important levels, and their key planets are running. And you can see that Jupiter is having Venus here, and Moon also there, and star sublord Mars is having some weakness. That Mars is having Venus, and that is also there, and Saturn also having that Venus. So Venus and other favorable key planet also playing role. So the good key planet Venus passing ruler link to the other levels, and the Moon is also, and Rahu also playing role. Rahu playing role here, and Rahu, it is not there at the last level, but it is there for the source level. It is there, and star level as a second planet is present. So that is favorable. So Jupiter has to support for the pregnancy during his Bhukthi. Since the destiny is good, and that is the fifth sublord is good, and conception also taken place during the Rahu Bhukthi. Dasa Lord is good, Bhukthi Lord also favorable, and conception has happened in during that period, and that Bhukthi Lord Jupiter has to give the delivery during that period. So during that period, at the time of delivery, that native was running Jupiter Bhukthi, Venus, Antra. Venus is favorable, star level, sub level are having some weakness, but somehow they are getting influence from the Venus by way of the Venus, and Venus. We already discussed while we are talking the seventh sublord. So at the time of delivery, the good key planet which is favorable for the pregnancy, that progeny is in Dasa Lord Moon, Rahu, and Venus, right? And the delivery happened during Jupiter Bhukthi, Moon, Rahu, Venus is playing. So that Venus itself is Antra, it is playing, and is the source planet. Sub 2 level also Moon, Rahu, other level having some weakness, but they are under the influence of this Venus. So that Venus has given the delivery during that period. Since the destiny is good, Dasa also good for the child, first child, and Bugdil also having some weakness, but Antral also, despite some weakness, it has given that delivery. You understand that which is more favorable? Destiny is favorable, right? The child was born on 26/10/2000. Let me note it down. First child born on 26/10/2000. Let us check the date. 26/10/2000. Moon Dasa. Jupiter Bhukthi 26/10. Venus Antra. So during this period, that child was born. Since the destiny for the first child is good, that the Dasa Lord also influenced by the destiny planets and unfavorable key planets of the destiny for the first child is not playing direct level. Only Saturn only having some weakness, but what do you call, favorable key planets are strongly playing. So that time that conception taken place, delivery also happened. You can see Saturn is also playing role everywhere because Venus is in the star of Saturn. So Saturn has to play role. So Saturn is having some weakness, but it is having the favorable second planet 311/2 and also aspected by the Venus. Venus is aspecting to the Saturn. And Saturn and Mercury are in sign exchange. So that is also having good significations. So that way, that period supported for the first child. And there was no significant problem for the health because the fifth cuspal sublord in the star and sub of this Rahu itself. Now, next comes the second child. Same Moon Dasa, Rahu Bhukthi, the native conceived for the first child. After Rahu, Jupiter was running. Jupiter only the child birth happened. So leave Jupiter. Then next comes that Saturn. Saturn, whether it is supportive for the second child. We have checked the seventh cuspal sublord, second child destiny. Destiny is becoming weaker by the Saturn and Mars. And indirectly Jupiter all playing role because Saturn is conjoined with the Jupiter. Remember, let me open this. Yes, Saturn is conjoined with the Jupiter. So destiny itself is having weakness. The Dasa Lord is ruled by Saturn, which is reducing the support of the Venus, that is seventh sublord. But in the star of moon is favorable, representing Rahu, again Venus. Rahu itself has come as the sublord. Now Rahu itself has come as the sublord, and also star level planet also ruling the Rahu. And because of that, ninth lord is getting support of this. It is supportive for the pregnancy. But what you got to keep it in mind? The destiny planet of the seventh house, the unfavorable key planet of the second child is Saturn and Mars and Jupiter, right? Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter are the unfavorable key planets. Moreover, for the second child, Mercury is the Badaka Lord, right? So Mercury means first house, and first cuspal Lord, that Mercury is Badaka Lord. So here, whether Mercury is playing role directly, Mercury is indirectly, it is sign exchange with the Mercury, no Saturn. No? Mercury is the sign exchange planet. So Mercury is Lagna Lord, fourth Lord, Badaka Lord, fourth Lord, occupying ninth house. 9 is fine, but Lagna also fine, but being the Badaka Lord, it is not good. 4 is also not good. Now, in the moon dasa, Saturn Buddhi, it is supportive for the second child conception. Who is the favorable key planet in moon dasa for the second child? Venus. Moon Venus itself. That Saturn in the star of moon Venus, that is further supportive, strongly well connected. So because of that, it is supportive for the second child. In moon Saturn, which antra, strong antra, should support for the conception? Which antra? Mercury is not good, and Ketu in the star of this one sublord is not good. Venus star level, sub level, already we discussed. Destiny planet itself will not support if it is weak, and sun is not good. No other way, moon only. Same moon which has given the conception for the first child. First child conception taken place during moon, Rahu, moon. Second child also, same moon, but Saturn Buddhi, same moon antra. Because moon only having that planet and star level, look at the grouping, it is all having favorable grouping along with that unfavorable. Saturn is also having the same ruler. Under Saturn also moon only favored. But the problem is the unfavorable key planet of the destiny Saturn is ruling at 2 levels, and same Saturn Ketu also conjoined with the Jupiter, and same Saturn is also playing role here, supported for the conception because of the favorable key planets. It is also indicating trouble to the seventh house because Venus is seventh cuspal sublord in the star of Saturn. So that is going to give the trouble. So it is indicating destiny of the seventh house. Second child is weak, and that Dasa Lord also having that unfavorable key planet of the second child's destiny. That itself is the Buddhi Lord is running during that period conception is taken place. So it will favor for the conception pregnancy. It will favor for the delivery also. But definitely there will be a problem in the progress of that growth of the fetus. Which are the planets connected? Moon connected, and Saturn conjoined with the Jupiter, sign exchange with the Mercury. Mercury Karagatva is getting disturbed, right? So that way you can see Saturn is here conjoined with Jupiter and aspected by Mars, Sun, and Venus. For the seventh house, Badaka Lord is Mercury, sign exchange with the Saturn. So now that second child was born, let us check the date. Delivery happened on 11/2/2003. 11/2/2003. Just a minute. Let me note down the date. Where to write? Date of child, second child. First child is male, second child is female. 11/2, I forgot, I missed. 11/2/2003. 11/2/2003. Let us check the date. Moon Dasa, Saturn book the conception taken place, Saturn book the moon antra. So by the time, at the time of delivery, book the change to Mercury. Mercury 11/2/2003. Mercury itself. You see, Mercury planet is the Badhaga Lord. And in the star of Jupiter and sub of Jupiter, you can see Jupiter is unfavorable. It is talking about 1, 4, 7, 10, 7 moving towards unfavorable. 7th house talking about the second child is Jupiter itself, Karaga planet. 10/4, 10/4. These houses are not good to the 7th house. Correct? Because if you check 10th house is 4th house to the 7th house is 10th house. If you take the 4th house, 8th house to the, not 8th house, 6th house, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10th house, sorry. 10th house to the 7th house is 4th house, 4th house and 10th house. Correct? They are not good. So these houses are unfavorable. Moreover, Jupiter is conjoined with the Saturn. Saturn is our unfavorable planet already. Correct. So that way you can see that in which that child was born, Mercury was born. Mercury in sign exchange with the Saturn, and so Jupiter, star lord, also conjoined with the Saturn. How come that Mercury is also connected to the Jupiter, also Saturn at both the levels? Right. So that way it is bad. Now that 12-level planet Moon is second lord for the 7th house, second lord is 8th house. So it is not good. 8th house means obstacles. Moon, Karaga planet for the mind. So where is Moon posted? Moon is posted in the sign of Jupiter. So Jupiter also passing its influence here. 7th house itself is occupied by Moon. Moon itself is the 8th lord to the 7th house. That is second lord. So that way, that sublord again Jupiter. So it is indicating clearly that Mercury, that Karaga planet for the brain, it is not supportive. At the time of delivery, it is not good. And the unfavorable key planet of the that 7th house is Saturn and Mars and what else? That Saturn, Mars and Jupiter. Jupiter is not playing role directly, but Jupiter is already conjoined with the Saturn. And Badhaga Lord itself is playing. They are all playing role well here. Here that Saturn role by way of a conjunction, Mercury sign exchange, so that all are playing. So it is indicating clearly at the time of delivery, that period you can see this is not strongly favorable for the delivery because it is not talking about any favorable houses. But delivery happened during that period. How come it will happen during the supports? Because Mercury is in the star of Jupiter. Jupiter is conjoined with Saturn and Jupiter is aspected by favorable Venus. Through the supports, Mercury supports, Jupiter is getting supports, and star lord of the star lord Moon is also supportive. So with the help of the support, that Mercury planet is given the delivery. But look at the grouping, it is not favorable for the child. So that way, that child was born with the, mental, that brain growth is not good, mental disorder because Moon is connected, Mercury is connected, and unfavorable houses are also connected, and influence of the Saturn and Badhaga Lord, it is all clearly indicated. So what I will check, we will check with the birth chart of that second child also now. And what we have to keep it in mind here, when the destiny of the second child, first the fifth house moving towards this one, that's one seventh sublord in the star of Saturn and Mercury, unfavorable, strongly present. Then the Dasa Lord itself is having that same grouping. Seventh house is going to experience this one, supportive for the progeny, but trouble to the seventh house matters. First, fifth gospel sublord is having some weakness, but sublord is favoring. So there is no problem to the fifth house. There is no problem, especially for the child. Child will be born. For the first child, there is no issue. But second child, it is having weakness. So when that day, but conception also taken place during that unfavorable period, then automatically that delivery also will happen in the period which is not having good grouping, and that child's, during the development of the brain, all these things not going to be good, because that conception taken place during the unfavorable influence of the unfavorable key planets which are influencing the destiny. I think you're able to understand. Now let us check the that second child birth chart. Now we are going to study the second child's birth chart. And before that, we have to keep it in mind that in the mother chart, the destiny is signified by the Venus, which is already having some weakness, and star level planet, Saturn and Moon also is the Dasa Lord, that is also affected, and occupant of the seventh house, Lagna of the second child, and Moon, Saturn, Venus, and especially that what do you call Jupiter's influence also there, because unfavorable, and importantly Saturn's role, and Mercury also affected. So conception taken place in the Moon Dasa and Saturn Buddhi, they are all unfavorable key planets. They themselves, they supported for the conception, and Antra also Moon itself. So Moon role is strongly present, and Moon is afflicted by the star level and sub level. So when the delivery happened in Moon, Mercury happened. So let us check, definitely that plan, that native child will be under the influence of the Moon, Saturn, Venus, because that is fifth cuspal sublord destiny planet. In this, that is the destiny is indicating weakness. Na? So they are all playing, and Jupiter also rolling. So let us check that how that child chart is signifying. Let us check now. This is the birth chart of the second child. Let us check the second child self-significators here itself, so that we need not discuss in detail. Just a minute, sorry. Yes, self-significator here itself, let us have. Lagna is Aries Lagna. Lagna is Aries Lagna, and Lagna Lord Mars is posted in its own sign by 8th house. Lagna Lord, 8th Lord occupying 8th house conjoined with the Ketu. And that is being aspected by Saturn. Can see Saturn, Moon are conjointly present, right? And Mercury conjoined with the Sun, Venus is posted in the 9th house, Jupiter is there in the 4th house. Lagna Lord, 8th Lord occupying 8th house, conjoined with the Ketu, afflicted by Ketu, and that is further influenced by the Saturn and Moon. And Mars is also aspecting to Rahu, and Jupiter is aspecting to the Lagna Lord Mars. Jupiter is what? Jupiter is the 9th Lord, 12th Lord, from the 4th house is aspecting. Badhaga Lord to this is Saturn. 11th Lord is Badhaga Lord. Saturn is aspecting. Badhaga Lord is aspecting. And who is the 4th Lord? Moon is aspecting. 4th Lord is aspecting. Badhaga Lord is aspecting. 8th Lord itself is the same planet, are influenced by the Ketu. Some weakness are indicated for the Lagna. Now let us check the that dasa in which the native was born. Unfortunately, in this case also, the child was born in moon dasa itself. Moon dasa itself, that native was born. In the previous chart also, we checked it was born in moon dasa itself. Because that dasa, Bugdi, and the dasa at the time of conception for the mother, moon was running. Antra also moon. That moon is having mixed signification, but star level having some weakness. So we have taken moon is an unfavorable Cape planet. It has got the unfavorable signification through the star level. All these things we discussed. The moon itself, we can see moon, dasa, talking about, you can see 4, 1, 2, 2, 6, 2, 6, all are unfavorable. Saturn, other unfavorable planet there. Sublord is Saturn. So it means what? Moon, dasa, Lord is moon, Bugdi Lord is Saturn at the time of birth. You can see this is not good grouping for the moon. Moon is Karaka planet for the mind. 4, 2, 2, 2, 6, all are not good for the good progress. Moon is disturbed, right? So that way that moon is into trouble. Now let us check the Lagna sublord. Where is the Lagna sublord? Lagna sublord is Rahu. Rahu is the Lagna sublord. Lagna sublord Rahu is conjoined with the moon, and star lord, all planet as moon only, and also conjoined with the Saturn. That Rahu represents another planet is Venus. So because we know that Venus and Saturn, Venus, Saturn, and Moon, and Jupiter, these are the planets are strongly unfavorable in the mother chart, signifying for the unfavorable signification for the Lagna of the 7th house. Here you can see that Venus, Mars also somehow it is connected to the 12th house. Anyway, these are the strong favorable, unfavorable key planet in the mother. Now here you can see in the Venus sign only, Saturn is present, Moon is present, and Rahu representing Venus itself is present, and Lagna sublord itself is Rahu in the star of Moon. So that way it is bad, and Mars is aspecting to that. They are all aspecting to Mars also, we can say. And Jupiter, other unfavorable key planet, is also passing its significations and impact to this planet, right? So Lagna sublord in the star of this planet, not good. Not good for the mental ability. Understand? So that is what indicated here. So you can see that Mercury is conjoined with the Sun, Mercury in the sign of Saturn. So that Jupiter also aspecting to the Mercury. So Mercury, if you see, 3rd Lord, 6th Lord occupying 9th house, and 8th star Lord, 2, 6, 3, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10. It is having some mixed signification, but in the star of Sun, 5th Lord moving towards 10, 10, and 11. It is not so good because 11th house is for this Lagna is Badhaga. And sublord is very bad, Saturn. Third house matters are not well supported by the star level and sub level, right? And that Jupiter also aspecting to this Mercury. Jupiter is 9th lord, but 12th lord also occupying 4th house. From the 4th house, it is not having any other signification. 12 and 4. This is influencing this. And in the sign of Saturn, Saturn already having strong unfavorable. So that also Mercury sublord also Saturn. Mercury in the sign of Saturn, Mercury conjoined with the Sun, aspected by Jupiter. You can see 3rd house matters. That is, 3rd house means that communication, that ability, and the thought process. That Venus, that Mercury is in the star and sub of unfavorable key planet. It is not favorable for the that brain development, nerves development also. So that is the reason you can see that if you look at the chart, you can clearly say that Lagna sublord is not good at the star level. Moon is afflicted, so Moon Karagatva is disturbed. And 3rd lord also, that is also thought process. Mercury itself is in the star and sub of unfavorable. That is also not good. At the time of birth, Moon was running. Moon is very bad. Sublord is Saturn. So it is indicating clearly that child was born with the unfavorable significations. Correct. So that way it is all indicating trouble to the lagna and trouble to the moon, mind, and also third house matters. So that's what we could identify in the mother chart itself. That seventh sublord, that is Venus, is having unfavorable signification for the seventh house matter, signified by the Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter, conjoined with Jupiter, na? And also that moon is also afflicted. So that way, that moon only got the conception, moon dasa, Saturn Bugdi, and moon antra. So when the conception is taken place, when the destiny is weak, that initiation of the process, that is conception, is taken place in the unfavorable period, which is not favoring to the lagna of that particular second child or first child, whatever it may be. If it is happening, automatically that is going to be carried in further gestation period and in the delivery also. That product coming out, that as a child will have such influence. So what we have to do, we have to check the destiny, we have to check the influence of the destiny, which are the planets are unfavorably influencing that lagna. And we have to see whether that running period also having such signification. Then we have to avoid that. We should not tell them, we should tell them that not to go for any pregnancy of the second child during that period. In this case, second child. If the fifth sublot itself is having such things, definitely first child itself will have such issue. I think you are able to understand. So when we are studying the progeny prospect, we should not just focus on only on the timing of event, but also we have to look at the health prospects of the child and also such issues also. Accordingly, we have to guide our customer. So I think we are able to understand. We'll meet in the next example. Thank you. Good luck.